Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Om Namah Shivaya.
The chapter, right? Can somebody remind me which sloka are we on? Finished 12th. So the 13th and 14th shloka we will chant together. Oh, we finished 12th. Okay. Only 13th we will read. Oops. Repeat after me. Sanyasyaste sukham vashi. Sanyasyaste sukham vashi. Should I keep repeating until you increase your volume? Sanyasyaste sukham vashi. See, when the students' participation is like dull, the teacher also doesn't feel inspired to speak. So, thoda sa, I'm not asking too much of homework here, just a little participation. Navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanna karayan sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvan na karayan. This body is often referred to as something which has a gateway. And there are how many gateways? In a certain Upanishad, it is referred to as Dashadvara also. There, it was not that they did not agree with what Bhagavan is saying here. There, it is also including the Brahmarandhra, which is the pathway for the jiva to enter into the body. When the child is born, right on the top of the head, there is a little dent. As if the doctor, while pulling the baby out, there's a little dent there. And it's a very soft spot. Elderly parents, they said, tel lagao, malish karo. So that is exact spot where there is the Brahmarandhra through which the jiva enters through the Raja Marga. The rest of the deities enter through different gateways. Navadvare pure dehi. And all the interactions happen through these 9 portals. When we look at these 9, I can see but cannot hear. 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, mouth. Yeah, 1 mouth. Through the excretory organs, which are 2. So of the 9, 7 of them are in the head. Therefore, the head is often referred to as Uttama Anga. 7 main portals and the processing unit, the central processing unit is right there. Therefore, it is called Uttamanga. And when we do Namaskara, that Uttamanga is brought down in offering the salutations, wherein without pride I offer at the feet of Guru or the God. Navadware, of these 9 portals, and though it is talking about someone who has reached to the state of accomplishment, let us talk about ourselves first. Where are we? When you are dealing with your children, especially in today's age, there are so many distractions. Are there not? Different sizes of screens. The biggest screen is the TV. TV se nazar hata, then it becomes computer, and from computer it becomes a pad, and from there it comes to phone. One after the other, one after the other. And if they have their midterms and they are watching TV, what do? Say, stop, go study. And when you find them distracted with the other screens, what do? One by one, you pull away all the screens and say, focus only on your studies. Once you are done, then I'll let you play with it. If you have not taken all these things into consideration, have you not left the scope for the mind, for that child to be distracted with one format or the other? Similarly with mind, when we start trying to control it, the actual control is when we have access and balance at all portals of entry and exit. If we just control one, the mind finds another route for it to go out and do its whatever it is famous for. Today there was a very hyper class in Frisco doing their presentation. So as soon as I got onto the stage, they were still very restless, and so I said, stop being restless. I looked at them. Interacting with each other, and the impact of it was the mats that were given are the yoga mats kind of a mat. At least about 6 mats. It's as if the rats have eaten them up. Thoda, 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 thoda. From outside, I stopped their speech and interaction with each other, but that restlessness goes out in other formats. So I said, stop shaking your legs. Okay, that is stopped. But the restlessness is there. The mind wants to jump out somewhere. Then you start playing with the pen. Kit, 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 kit. There was one kid sitting right in the front. The whole half an hour, all that he was doing is kit, 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 kit. They said, stop that also. Then the folders become decorative. They start doodling on it. Mind needs, it runs out from various portals. See, when the title of Swami is given, what does that Swamitva indicate or should indicate? It's not necessary, but should indicate the one who has mastery or balance over all these portals. Otherwise, that Swami is like the title given. There are people who still have, they don't have kingdoms, but still have the titles. So, kis rajya ke? No, we have only titles now. Swami is when you have complete control over this. Having gained that control, how do you work? How do you interact with the outside world? Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi. The doership through these different organs of perception action, that doership is completely given up. And that interaction is observed. Such ones, naiva kurvan na karayan. They are neither the doers, nor they are the ones who cause or become the cause for any such doership anywhere else. Now, why is this shloka? If you go to the earlier shloka, such ones, what do they achieve? Shantim apnoti naishtikim. They acquire immense peace within. And whenever we are restless, yes, we have the world to blame, but when we are truly sincere in identifying where exactly is the source of restlessness, then we identify that our mind is what is running through these different 9 holes, 9 gates. Adi Shankaracharya ji in Viveka Chudamani gives a very beautiful example. Different creatures. As a very profound example. Kuranga, Matanga, Patanga, Meena. Do you know what is an easy method to hunt or catch a deer? Traditionally, they take some good musical instrument. When I say traditionally good music instrument, it is not the drums. सुन के भाग जाएंगे. Some melodious instrument like a flute or usually it is a flute, that is what I have seen. And the moment they hear a melodious sound, they just stop moving. It's only after coming to this country I have heard the usage of deer in the headlight. I've seen it also a couple of times. Driving from Chicago to Milwaukee. Man, they're dangerous. When you play good music, they immediately stop. And to hunt that one which is not moving any further is easy. And just because it does not have control over its hearing, it loses its life. The elephant, in its mating season, they have a female elephant tied to a big tree. Around that tree, about 15-20 feet away from that tree, circularly, there are big trenches that are opened up, covered with thin bamboo and leaves. Inside, there is this bamboo which is sharpened. Usually, the elephants are very careful animals. They can easily sense if there is some hollow surface ahead of them. But because of that mating season, the touch of the female that they can smell, which is near the tree, they lose sight, they lose their focus that trench, done. And they cut those big tuskers and they lose their life. Patanga. Patanga is not a kite. That is in Hindi. Patanga in Sanskritam is a firefly. Usually, just before the rainy season, there are these moth-like flies that come out. And where do they rush to? They are attracted to flame. I'm just imagining, if you stop one bug, say, don't! You will go in there and burn yourself. So that fellow will say, what do you think? The rest of them are fools? Leave me. They are having fun. I will also go have fun. And go jump into that fire. And by morning, you will see that the entire area is filled with these dead bugs, fireflies, because of its attraction towards that form, which is the flame. There is this fish. Does anybody have an aquarium at home? Cool. Because I hear that Indian parents, when the kids start asking for dog or any pet, the first thing they say, get them a fish tank. So this is also a pet because it is easy maintenance. Is it? It is not? Or is it a sea fish, a saltwater fish? Oh, okay. So you have a bigger one. Okay, it found you. So when you start feeding that fish, no amount of how much you feed, they're ready to eat. You have to have a timer and then set it accordingly. Otherwise, you keep feeding it and it will keep eating. And because of that gluttony, the taste, that it doesn't realize the hook behind and get caught. And then it also loses its life. Each one of these creatures, they don't have control over one sense organ and loses their life. There Adi Shankaracharya ji says, what to talk of human beings? Can we say any one of these organs under control? So I remember Sholay dialogue. Ab tera kya hoga kaliya? Strange that we are molded and conditioned to control the outside environment, outside circumstances, wherein the priority should have been to control first from within. Was a parent, a mother, she said, "Oh Swamiji, I am so scared. My child just got the driver's license and is asking for a car. And I told him very clearly, no car until you are in your college, second year college, that is when we'll think about it." So the child was also there. I said, "Beta, you go talk to your friends. Let me talk to your mom." So I said, Do you want them to make mistakes, and while they make those mistakes, be there around to take care of them or to guide them, to show them what is right? Or you want them to figure this out all by themselves when they are in college? And she was wide-eyed and said, I didn't think of it that way. I was thinking of postponing unnecessary pain of these kids running around in the cars and me keeping a tab on where, when, how. Good standpoint. And that fellow who I asked him to go out, and he was hanging still there. And the moment he heard what I said, he was like, oh yeah. And then later he said, oh, you're my homie now. I said, okay, boy. Send your child out into the world. I'm talking about the example of the car driving. Without learning the skill of car driving, especially in this country. Because in this country, if you don't have a car or if you don't know how to drive one, then you are bekar. Hindi bekar, not Gujarati bekar. Any Gujarati here? Gujarati ma bekar means 2 cars. In Hindi, bekar means useless. Won't you take that extra effort in making sure that the child has learned the right way to drive? Up until then, if you had some wrong habits, especially while they are learning, wouldn't you correct your own self so that they learn the right practice? Why is that important? Because it is their safety and it is also the safety of others. Similarly, shouldn't this be a practice of higher priority? Wherein the equipment that which we are born with, to have accessibility, balance and control, so that they can acquire a sanctuary of peace within. Once that is created, they're prepared, they're ready for any amount of overwhelming experience out there. You know for sure that that individual is equipped to handle it. Then comes the next level, wherein sarva karmani manasa sanyasya. Having thus gained balance, and through those interactions, removing the doership. We have simplified the entire karma yoga into a formula. Do you remember the formula? बोलिए ना.
Minus doership. When you take out the doership from the world.
Something like that. From the action, when the doership is taken out, the act still remains. When the kartrutva is taken out, karya still remains. And that karya happens through that equipment, and that individual is only observing that interaction happening. Naiva kurvan na karayan. Now in the same stretch, in the next 2 shlokas, Bhagavan is adding his, what I call these 2 shlokas as, that Bhagavan's disclaimer. And it's all in bold. There's no fine print there. Usually disclaimers are in fine print. Now these 2 shlokas will upset many of you. Not because it is intended to upset you. It is because we have a wrong understanding or a wrong definition of what that God as a concept is. So first let's go through those two shlokas and then buckle up, because it is going to hurt someone today. Repeat these two shlokas. Na kartritvam na karmani lokasya srujate prabhuhu phala samyogam swabhavastu pravartate nadatte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhuhu ajnanenavritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. Before I touch these two shlokas, have you ever played a game on your cell phone? All of you? One time or the other? First game that you have played? Catfish. Candy Crush. Candy Crush. There was Angry Birds. Temple Run. There was one frustrating game. Flappy Birds or Flappy Bird. There's a simple premise to it. It was so frustrating that you have to keep pressing it and it keeps flying, and there are different stages, different impediments, and you have to be watchful. And the speed picks up after a few rounds. It gets frustrating. You think you got it and you go hit into something. So you played many. When the game is designed, when the game is constructed, the architect who has designed that particular game designs the game with a certain baseline rules. In order to understand those rules, there is usually a video or a demo that you play for a certain time. Right? And these days kids don't even need that demo or anything. You throw it into and they somehow figure it. And I'm very good at it too. This kid playing a new game. I said, do you want to watch the demo? That's for your kind of people. He said, I said, okay, thank you. We don't need the demo. The demo gives you a basic understanding of the ground rules. And once you get into that game, understanding those rules, to play by those rules, can the architect predetermine as to what your personal result should be? Was my question clear? Suddenly there was like clear, right? So can the architect predetermine your result? Thank you. If you are in a tight spot, can you call in the architect to come and fix it for you? You understand the game now, right? Similarly, exactly same way, Bhagavan says that having created this creation, I have instituted certain basic guidelines of rules, which is common for everyone who is intending to play. For everyone, it is a common. Learn how to use it, it is a blessing. Go against it, it becomes a Did I convey this message clearly? Because when I now switch gears, it should not like, oh, wait a second, where did that come from? Is the baseline clear? The rules? With respect to this creation, the nature's laws have been set. And these laws are independent of your belief system. I don't believe it. It doesn't matter whether you believe in it or not. I go back to my simple example that if you are intelligent enough, you go with proper gloves or proper way to handle a live wire in electricity. See, your hands are wet. So what? I go touch the live wire. Do you think the live wire will say, Beta, you may not have a good belief system today, but I am not something that you have to play around with. But I didn't know. Ignorance. Do you think it is going to stop you from the repercussions of handling it badly? Which is what we claim with respect to life. But I did not know. I did not have that intention. Why is this repercussion? Law is independent of your belief system. Learn, understand, and use it for your growth and comfort. It will have its repercussions. Suddenly, in the middle of various experiences, I rush. One of my friends was a priest in a very famous temple in Bombay called Siddhivinayak Temple. Have you heard of that? Very good. So I asked him, like there was in couple of weeks, there was Ganesh Chaturthi. I said, so Ganesh Chaturthi is coming, that must be the busy. I said, no. Ganesh Chaturthi is actually not the busy day. In Ganesh temple, famous Ganesh temple, Ganesh Chaturthi is not the busy day. I was like, when exactly is the busy day? Can you guess which one? Funnily, it is about the exams, but it is not before the exams. It is one day before the results are to be announced. Now, at that point, who can change the result? Bhagwan, I know I must have goofed up somewhere. This time, get me through. I will break 11 coconuts. $11.25. Now, what does Bhagavan has to say? That's why all our gods, they are in this mudra. What does this mudra mean? He said, stop. I can't do anything. That is the next mudra. I can't do anything. अब मेरे हाथ में क्या है? What is in my hands? That is one aspect. The second aspect of it is, we tend to equate that Ishvara, that Bhagavan, Karma Phaladata, as somebody who has some vengeance to pick on each one of us and smack us around. Have you gone to Ch5? Okay, good. Because 14, 15 years ago when I had just come, I had a lot of time on my hands, and somebody said, Swamiji, we are celebrating my child's birthday in Ch5. Please come. Having gone there, I was like, Good that I went, I know what is in there. There's this particular game, arcade or a game. There are these sharks and whales popping up, and you have a rubber hammer, and it's called whack-a-mole. You whack them. Do you think Bhagavan is like that? That early morning he wakes up and picks up his hammer, and he'll look at people, okay, today I pick this fellow. Okay, that fellow is done. Now who should I whack? Because that is how we complain. Why did Bhagavan do this to me? क्या उनको और कोई काम धंधा नहीं है क्या? If that is the result that I am going through, can that be a result of, I've read in the Greek books about their gods, that if you don't offer, if you don't appease them, they're vengeful. They put you in really tight spots. You've read those stories, right? But in our understanding of Ishvara, that Ishvara cannot be a vengeful God. He has already set the base rules, guidelines, and how you use it, it is your responsibility about that result. Rushing to the temple and saying that, oh Bhagavan, why did you do this to me? He said, hey, tham zara. Stop. I have got nothing to do with it. It was your responsibility and it is your result. We cannot blame there that is manipulating with our lives when all the freedom of choice was ours. Na kartrutvam na karmani lokasya srujati prabhu. The third aspect, he says, na karma phala samyogam. The results of your action is also depending purely on you. It is not like you do the actions and you go to Bhagavan and bribe him. I'll do 108 times pradakshina. I'll do this special puja. It is our freedom of choice, our choices, our life, our responsibility. And he says it here very clearly that I do not take sides, favoritisms, or participate in the action or in the result of the action. It's directly depending on the action that you are performing, the clarity with which you are performing, the intensity with which you are performing. It's purely in your lap. Na karma phala samyogam. With respect to how your input is, the nature will give the results accordingly. Swabhavastu pravartate. Did you understand? from today on, moving forward, you have lost your birthright in blaming that fellow called God. Clear? Hey Bhagwan, why is this happening to me? Find the nearest mirror. Stand in front of it. There lies your answer. You alone are responsible for the situation that you are in. Whether that situation is a good situation, a bad situation, an ugly situation, or a despicable situation, it is a direct result of my karma alone. And this result of karma is not just because of this life, carried forward from various lives, which comes in the form of our prarabdha. So what is this shloka trying to tell us? Stop whining, man up, face your life. Na adatte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhuhu. Bhagavan says, I am neither interested in your sin that I reduce it, nor I am interested in your punya to partake in it. The papa punya are also yours. Now at this point, there should have been at least one question popping in your head. At least one. Will you ask or should I continue? If Bhagavan has nothing to do with my life, responsibility with the results, then why in heaven do I need a God? Did that? Oh, it seems like it popped in many heads. And since you did not ask, I am asking you. So therefore answer. I gave you a choice. Why God then? That's why I said this sloka is going to burst many a hope. No, when he has got nothing to do with my life and my actions, then why do I need that God? Okay.
Of that game that was constructed, the one that we talked about, the architect is still him. So the wise will worship him because he is the one to be looked up to and worship. Not because we will gain or lose or have committed a wrong or want to commit a right or better our wrongs. So not for any purpose other than that.
Many of us sitting here do everything with an ROI. So talk to me in a language of ROI as to what is it in for me, why should I worship that God? Na kartrutvam na karmani. That's why we call this socket. So come plug in and charge.
For that reason. That's the ROI.
Yes, Amma. No, you can sit and talk. Aram se.
This word is nothing but positive energy, and they pray and all these things. They change your mind. They give the positive ideas in your listening, so that they change your thinking. Your thinking will be changed with the help of the they are the have a positive energy and their effect. You can have a positive thinking and good this
Good effect.
yeah. They give always a positive ideas and positive things in your
Got it.
surrounding your district. Sometimes God gives not directly but indirectly some others this thing you can get good, they guide us. I am not telling that God helps us. Sometimes they comes in the other way, somebody's mouth, they will try to give you help, but it is depends on your this thing, that how much you are taking from them. But if you are a good this thing, then you can have a good
Well, we heard stories, right?
No, you're asking a question.
No, I'm saying that.
No, you're asking a question. Question has to pause. I'll come back to that question.
I'm saying this, that we have stories that he protects us. So if you surrender to him, and even though you're not asking him, but he's going to be there if you have surrender, that he'll protect you and help you, guide you through your life.
Let me bust that also in a minute.
Well, I think we always say God is within us, right? So why are we talking of God as such a separate entity? I think the whole ignorance is not realizing, God is within us. And once we realize God is within us, then all these things can be accomplished.
You're talking about Advaita.
No, we are talking Advaita only here.
Constantly remind ourselves of the baseline that we have set.
For that, I don't need God. I just need a manual.
You have to be reminded constantly. Either you read the manual, it's like reading the manual every day.
Why does it have to be separate? And you're saying that everything is within our control, but then there are things that are clearly beyond our control. There are things that we have to put some sort of faith in a higher power, because the alternative to just say, well, it's up to the rest of humanity.
You cannot change. First thing is, you cannot change the premise that I started building the whole thing with. I'm talking at an individual level with what I am experiencing as the set of premise that I have constructed. You suddenly change the premise, then the whole discussion changes. Fair enough?
It's basically confidence and gratitude and thankfulness. You owe it to somebody, so you don't know who, right? So that's what it is.
So coming to the point, why God? Tuning in to that God as defined in our scriptures tunes the mind to that source. And where is that source? Which I'll have to give it to her. Where is that source? As a core of our own being. If you are using an axe to cut trees, every so often you have to pause to sharpen that axe. So connecting to that core of our own existence is nothing but sharpening the equipment. That the closer we are, the sharper is the equipment. I am following the karma and performing my dharma. That dharma in turn protects me and it follows me wherever I go. Answering your objection there. That is also a part of this entire creation, that you follow that dharma and it will protect you. In India, they have changed it to Vriksho Rakshati Rakshitaha. It is not Vrikshaha. Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. Your own dharma will protect you. But that connection that you sit, pray, do your mantra, do your japa, though the idol or the murti is outside, but it is connecting to something within. And as you get closer to it, the sharper is your equipment. Therefore, it is an inseparable part of our understanding or evolution. And once you change the premise, and there are so many things that are happening which are not immediate our life or experience, the entire creation is an amazing spectrum. And to that, as a thankful attitude, yes, as a gratitude, I offer my thanks to him as well. So when we go through this logic, it should not arrive to a point that, chalo, Bhagwan ki zarurat nahi hai. There is no need for that Bhagwan.
Look, you still don't need, you just have to bow down to that powerful force. What happens is today, the way we approach it is, hey, Bhagwan, help me. So we put ourselves into a situation where we say, I need that.
That is what I exactly said. So I agree with you. I agree with you in most parts, but the definition is not that he is a powerful force. He is the beholder of that force. He is not Shakti, he is Shaktiman, the one who beholds that force. And why do we go into these cycles? The Ajnanena Avratam Jnanam. All this because of our delusion born out of ignorance. And that ignorance can be removed only through knowledge. And where do we get that clarity and knowledge? Through the satsanga. In Bhagavad Gita itself, Bhagavan says, wherever there is such confusion, where do we get clarity? Tasmat Shastram Pramanamte. In the Shastra. And satsang is the environment where we get the opportunity to understand it. Knowledge alone can remove that ignorance. And the after effect of that ignorance is the delusion. In desperate mode, we are trying to hang on to anything that we can lay our hands on. Solution. It's never going to be a solution. Your despondency and your fears will only be increasing. Because of that wrong standpoint, born out of our ignorance. Avratam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. And those who is deluded is far away from being even a human being. So have I reached across? Don't blame God. Acquire clarity. And in that clarity lies the key and straightening our path. I think I'll stop here. Yes, the time has ended. We'll continue again with the 16th shloka. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om